Planning a field trip is not always the easiest thing to do, and here at Adventure Student Travel, we know this. That's why we're here as your top suggestion resource, as well as your top booking agency for field trips. In this video, we're going to discuss some of the absolute finest places to take your students to immerse them into an educational experience that they will not forget, benefiting both you and your class. Our recommendation for a science field trip is to take your students to the Michigan Science Center in Detroit, Michigan. This museum has countless interactive exhibits, an on-site planetarium, shopping and eating options on-site, and even live demonstrations daily, which make this spot one of our very top choices. Highly educational activities and exhibits within the museum allow students to have hands-on opportunities to learn, while also meeting several different specific curriculum standards in the broad spectrum of scientific learning. Our recommendation for a historical field trip is to take your group to Colonial Williamsburg in Williamsburg, Virginia. This is a living history attraction that thousands flock to annually. Colonial Williamsburg pertains specifically to 18th century America, the time period leading up to the Revolutionary War. Students can see what life was like by observing blacksmiths at work along the streets, traditional clothing adorned by locals, and even food reminiscent of the past. All are excellent opportunities to immerse them into education. We suggest taking your group to the Eco Wildlife Safari in Virginia Beach, Virginia to experience a biology field trip. Here, your students can learn about our natural world, which is a very important aspect of education. The Eco Wildlife provides a very entertaining learning opportunity. Your students can experience an undiscovered world filled with local wildlife, including deer, fox, bobcat, marsh birds, ghost crabs, and many others, as well as local plant life such as greenery, fruits, nuts, berries, and edible flowers. This opportunity also adds in local history elements with the opportunity to explore various shipwrecks and early life remnants. For a social science field trip, we recommend you take your students to the Field Museum in Chicago, Illinois. Social sciences are always important in the educational world. The study of human and scientific interaction are both interesting and educational. Students can learn about the ancient Americas, Africa, Asia, and the Pacific in regards to natural history and civilization development through the various hands-on exhibits. This museum is one of the best museums in the country to learn about both science and natural history. For a fun or celebratory field trip, we suggest taking your group to Walt Disney World in Orlando, Florida. Sometimes your students just need to blow off steam, especially when they've been working hard all year or have accomplished something big. Walt Disney World is the perfect place to let your students let loose and have some fun. Disney World also has the added benefit of being in a highly entertaining city overall, Orlando. For a military history experience, we recommend going to the Pima Air and Space Museum in Tucson, Arizona. Aviation and military history oftentimes gets passed up in the realm of field trip outings, but we think that they hold special importance for students interested in the military or just for students in need of a history lesson. The military has played a huge part in U.S. history, and places like the astounding Pima Air and Space Museum allow students to immerse themselves into a world of aircraft and military flight expeditions. For a culture field trip, we highly recommend taking a trip to El Museo del Barrio in New York City. Culture exploration and appreciation is a very important part of education, and finding museums dedicated to different cultures and heritages is a lot easier than you might think. New York City is a great place to find many culture-filled educational hotspots, such as one of our favorites, El Museo del Barrio. This museum of Latin American culture provides guests with art, history, and artifacts that reflect those represented. For a religious trip experience, we suggest going to the Brown Chapel AME Church in Selma, Alabama. We believe an important aspect of education is the history of religion and cultures, local history, and heritages. This church is an especially excellent example of this, holding more civil rights history than most other places in town. Brown Chapel is considered to be the starting point for the Selma to Montgomery marches of '65, as well as a prominent local church for spiritual learning at the time. I hope that this video was able to give you a few ideas of where you might like to travel with your student group. Call us today for help booking your trip. Our number is 877-397-5700, or you can visit the Adventure Student Travel website for more information. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to like this video and subscribe to the Adventure Student Travel YouTube channel for more informational videos.